Welcome to the Apple Pie Club. We're here to take you on a thrilling journey through the realms of practical philosophy and spirituality. I'm Sky, your spiritual guide, and I'm joined by Tanya, your practical philosopher. And our aim is to offer you a holistic perspective on life, blending insights from diverse philosophies and spiritual practices. From personal growth to timeless wisdom, we'll have it covered. So whether you're a seasoned seeker or just starting your journey, join us on this adventure. The Apple Pie Club is open to all, and we can't wait to have you along for the ride. So grab a slice of apple pie, the recipe's in the notes, and let's dive into a world of ideas together. So Tanya, today we're discussing another quote from Aristotle, and it says, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." What do you think, Tanya?
Well, this was interesting. It really took me back to being a young mother. And my son had started school at 4 or 5 or whatever age I think they're 4, isn't it, when they go into school. And I was really impressed by a program that they had taken into the school for the kindy, year 1, year 2, year 3. I think it went up to about year 4 or something. I'm not quite sure. Didn't go throughout the school, but it was very much in the younger years, and it was called Habits of Mind. And I looked it up, and it's a program that was designed for primary school by Costa and Calic. And the school used to do, they used to give rewards at the, what do you call it?
Assembly.
Yeah. They would give awards to kids for displaying certain habits of mind. Now, there's 16 habits of mind: persisting, thinking and communicating with clarity and precision, managing impulsivity, gathering data through all of your senses, listening with understanding and empathy, being creative, imaginative and innovative, thinking flexible, etc. So there's 16 of them.
Okay.
Okay, I won't go on and on. We can, put them in the notes or a link so you can find out what they were. My son is very high energy, so he could be diagnosed as ADD under certain standards. Well, he was until he left school, and then there was nothing wrong with him at all.
Exactly
what he likes to do, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But at a very young age, he would do his homework doing headstands and do his homework, couldn't sit still and stuff like that. Anyway, he got an award for managing impulsivity because he was running through the playground, and then, because they're not allowed to run, I don't know why they're not allowed to run, but they're not allowed to run.
Yeah, I hear you.
And they said that the teacher was watching him, and he started to run and then stopped and thought, no. So they were very much impressed with.
I'm impressed, yes.
Well, I know. I was impressed as well. I was thinking, oh, wow, I wish I'd do that at home. But anyway, I wish I wouldn't chuck the rugby ball in the front room. So I said to him when I was getting ready for this talk, I said to him, can you remember the habits of mind? I went, no. And then he said, I can remember being morally good men. I said, no, this was at a younger age. And it really made me recall unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competent, unconscious competence. And I wondered at what level did the habits of mind sink in?
Yeah.
Because he can control his impulses now.
Yes.
And how much, the age group that they brought those habits of mind in was very much before you were 7, 8, 9.
Wow.
So even though they didn't carry on studying it, which I thought would be wonderful if they did, because it's obviously all those 16 areas are critical to being a functional person. But it made me think, is it already ingrained there? Therefore, has he already been repeatedly doing it? As Aristotle says, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. And I wondered if those habits had already formed in his neuropathways. So I'm actually thinking that it really had a massive impact on his habits now.
fact, it's actually scientific now. We have the science behind this, that we adopt the habits of our environment while we're growing up. In fact, it's called our indoctrination. We think we're independent people making our own independent choices in our own independent life with our own independent minds, but really we're not, because the truth is that the decisions we are making in our lives and for our lives, in our lives and for our lives, are from our beliefs and our perceptions that we adopted growing up. And that is until we decide to be consciously aware, as you've spoken about, and consciously choose them, consciously change them if we want to, and consciously choose them. But those decisions that we adopted from our environment growing up determine how we live today. And it determines who we love. It determines the way we accept others treating us. It determines our level of abundance. It determines our quality of our health. All of those decisions that we think we're making, they actually come from a mind that was molded for us during our childhood.
It's quite scary, really, isn't it?
It really is.
When we discuss the set point of happiness or unhappiness, because that's actually wired in the brain. That's got nothing to do with upbringing, has it?
Well, our DNA and our habits, exactly. So, but we have the ability to change those, and that's the exciting thing. This is what we're talking about today, actually.
Yeah. When I've worked a lot with personality types, which works on your DNA and your natural ability, we used to focus on 3 things that affect who you are and therefore closely linked to habits. First of all, there's your DNA, which is what we're talking about there. That's how your brain is wired and what you're naturally born into this world gravitating towards. So my son was very active, so he gravitates towards action, risk, fun, that sort of thing. Other people gravitate towards study, reading books. Other people gravitate towards love. We gravitate towards different things. That's the DNA. Then there's what you can learn, which is what you're saying here. Neuroplasticity, you can learn new skills. And therefore, if you know that you need to form a new habit in order to become happier or more skilled in an area, absolutely 100% that's possible. But once you learn those, or once you become aware of those skills, that's where you exercise what we call free willing choice. And free willing choice requires you to be aware of when a new decision needs to be made so you don't fall into that habit. And you consciously say, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I need to make this decision because I'm going to be developing a new habit.
Oh, well, Shad Helmstetter in his book Choices was very clear about that. He has a chapter that says, do we really have free will, or are we living out of our past programs? And we only have free will until we decide to, look at our life and decide why we're making those choices, and then realize, okay, now I'm making this choice for myself, not because I have this past program. All the old people living in our brain, as someone, Ray Behan from Think and Grow Education always calls them. He calls it our aged care center, where all the old people from our past live out their beliefs in our lives, and I love that imagery. I love that picture, so really, one has to say that your son, during that program, in his environment, he was actually learning those habits, so much so that they became who he was. And that's how our habits can change our DNA. So actually, our habits can be even now, in our adult life, we have the ability to control our thinking, to control our minds, and to change our habits and change our lives.
I think it's really important for everybody to celebrate the fact that we are continuously learning. We never stop learning.
Absolutely.
To the day we decide, to the day we depart the world. Everything is a learning curve. And I want to give an example of changing a habit. This happened for me. I became very aware of what my strengths were and what my challenges were. And one of the challenges I had, which was to do with my DNA, I'm not naturally highly process driven, task driven, tick the box driven. But when you and I work together, I absolutely do that, don't I? I tick the
Yeah,
box. I go task
definitely.
accomplished, tick, tick. Now, I had to learn that.
Yes,
It was
exactly.
not a natural skill for me, but I
Mm.
had to learn it because it was a lack of the skill which was getting in the way of my success, right? And it wasn't until I joined Jay Shetty's Genius program that through listening to his teachings, that I really became aware and grew a massive meaning and connection towards the importance of knowing what my purpose is, right? Not going off of what my purpose was, staying focused on my purpose. That I ended up controlling my life and what I wanted to do, and nobody else could come in and influence me.
Yeah.
So I had to, the meaning that I attached to a new skill and a new habit that I had to develop made me more determined to develop that new habit.
Yes.
Having a strong meaning attached to it.
Yes.
The meaning being, if I don't do this, this is going to happen. If I do develop this new habit, then this is going to happen.
Yeah. The conscious awareness.
Yeah.
Till it becomes, unconscious competence because you've completely formed that habit and now you don't even think about it anymore. It's like driving. We don't even think about driving anymore. It's an unconscious competency. Yeah.
And through that, hand on heart, when you take a moment to sit back and think, okay, because we've all got challenges, we've all got weaknesses, we've all got skills that we could improve on. Identify it, attach meaning to it, because when you do, your life becomes quite different. It becomes amazing. You become happier, more productive, for me, I was less distracted. Totally changed my life. Totally changed my life by really taking some time out to understand what habits would I benefit from, What habits do I need to learn even at my age now?
Of course, we're always learning. Yeah. So I love that because, a lot of people would say, what is your why? And I would think, what I really hate that phrase. What is your why? What all it is exactly what you've said, is what meaning have you attached to this, to learning this new skill, or letting go of something else that maybe is not serving you so well.
Because equally we're going to have habits which are getting in our way and not serving us.
Yes. And what we're doing was creating those new habits. We're rewiring our brain. We're back to our neuroplasticity, our neuro pathways, so that it becomes something that, well, exactly, that was a habit. That is what a habit is. It's something we don't even think about anymore. So we wake up in the morning, we brush our teeth. We don't have to think, oh, I'm going to brush my teeth today. And how do I brush my teeth? I put toothpaste on the toothbrush. We don't think like that because it's such a habit. We just do it naturally. And so that's what Aristotle is talking about. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. So what habits do we have that are cultivating excellence in our life? And what habits do we have that are cultivating, causing us to not be excellent in our lives? Watching TV every night and, what exercise are you doing and what is your diet like? It all affects our mental health, our, everything in our lives. So we're looking at those habits that for them to become so part of our life that we don't even think about, how am I going to eat better today? It's just a natural process that we have.
100% health being probably the most important, because if you haven't got your health, everything else becomes irrelevant.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
But and self-esteem. So self-esteem is a big one. And in the States, 80% of their first graders, so they first go to school, they have this high self-esteem. By the time they're in fifth grade, it's down to 20%. By the time they're seniors in high school, self-esteem is assessed at 5% of those seniors in high school. So low self-esteem is an epidemic right now. And in fact, 2 out of 3 adults have low self-esteem. But low self-esteem is based on our habits and our beliefs. So self-esteem is based on our self-talk. and I know we did an episode on this previously, but the way we talk to ourselves, because we talk to ourselves all day long, and it's through thoughts. And we have an average of 60,000 thoughts a day, and 95% of those thoughts are the same thoughts we had yesterday and the day before that. Our minds are these record players that go over and over and over again about the same things. And 80% of a person's thoughts are negative. Which is why at the end of the day, we feel so drained, because our negative thoughts have robbed us of our energy. And scientists call this a negative bias, because we've actually inherited this from our cavemen ancestors, because at the time they needed to be negative or they would die. But we still have this bias. And so it's up to us to put in the effort to change those habits and not to be biased towards the negativity. So to change our self-talk, and what are we saying to ourselves, and what are we thinking about ourselves, and to retrain our brain to be on the lookout for the positive. Because when we're on the lookout for the positive, when that neural pathway is ingrained and fixed, that's what we see. We see the beautiful things in life, and we start to focus on those beautiful things, and we start to create a new habit of focusing on those positive things, and that's when our life will change.
Yeah, and I think that, when you talk to people who are busy, they go, I'm so busy. I think, well, are you? You can only be concentrating on one thing at one time. So just concentrate on that, do the task, then finish that task, let it go, then turn your attention, maybe walk around, let that task go, it's already complete, and then move to the next task. And that's where the to-do list came in wonderful for me.
I'm a fan of the to-do list.
Look, task one done, task two. I didn't carry the 20 tasks with my energy throughout the whole day.
Yes.
Because that becomes exhausting and draining. So when I sometimes talk to people, they go, I'm just so busy, I can't do that. And I think, well, maybe it's your mind which is busy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the way you're looking at your tasks, and you're in the habit of just rolling one task into the next, that it all becomes too exhausting.
Well, actually, interesting that you said that about I can't do that, because that's one of the phrases that when people do muscle testing, if people say I can 3 times, then the arm stays really strong, and then a person is asked to say I can't do it, and push, no matter how hard they try to keep it up, somebody pushes their arm and the arm goes loose, because actually that negativity of just saying those words, I can't do it, makes the muscles in our body weaker, makes us weaker. So
your internal dialogue, right?
It's exactly as we've just been talking about. It's our self-talk. What are we saying to ourselves throughout the day? And what do we call ourselves? Oh, Sky, you stupid. Why did you do that? Thankfully, I stopped saying that a long time ago. But a lot of people do. And so what are we saying to ourselves, and what's in our self-talk? Because as Aristotle says, excellence is a habit. And so, but
everybody knows that they can achieve excellence.
Exactly.
It's in everybody's reach.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. And excellence will be different things for different people. So that's the other thing is, for you to determine what does that excellence look like for you? What is it that you're wanting? So this must be a good way to bring in our tips, actually. So for me, first of all, I'm going to do the tip, and then I'm going to actually be bold enough to bring in my new habit that I'm wanting to start. So we are what we repeatedly do. So what is it that you repeatedly do that you really love about yourself and your life? So I wanted to start with that, because I think the most important thing is for us to acknowledge all of the good habits that we have. We could so easily, and so many times we focus again on that what could be perceived as something negative. Okay, I'm going to stop doing that, or I really need to start doing that. Okay, but let's first of all stop for a few minutes and just take stock of all the good things that we do in life. Okay, that we already have, those beautiful habits that we already have. We were able to learn those habits. And now think about something that you would like to change in your life, either something you want to add or something you'd like to stop doing. Remember to be kind to yourself as you create awareness around this idea and as you're deciding on your new habit. And also remember that new habits take time. There was that experiment where they did. I think they took 100 people and they asked them to take a 10-minute walk after dinner to create that new habit. Well, it took some people 18 days and some people 246 days. The range was huge from 18 days. Remember, a habit is, okay, no, we got to go for a walk now. No, that's not a habit. A habit is finish dinner, get up and go for a walk. You don't even have this internal dialogue with yourself as whether you want to or don't want to. It's such a habit, you just do it. Took some people from 18 days, others all the way to 246. So they went back and they asked these people, why did it take you 18 days? And other people, why did it take 246 days? Turned out that it was the level of commitment that they had to the habit. If those people who were just totally committed, yeah, I really actually want to do this, the meaning they gave to it, as you said, Tanya, early, they gave this meaning to it. So they saw the benefits of it. So they were able to implement it from pretty much from day one. Oh, okay, dinner's over. Let's go for a walk. After 18 days, they weren't even discussing, let's go for a walk. Dinner's over. They were out the door. So what habit do you want to introduce in your life or get rid of, and what meaning are you attaching to that? And so, in fact, as Marissa Peer says, we need to make the familiar unfamiliar and the unfamiliar familiar. Okay, so we're switching things out. And so I am going to declare that I used to love running. Yeah, I used to love running. I used to do 10-kilometer races in Saudi. I did 3, and the year that I was there, and I just love the feeling of getting out and running along the river. But I didn't create a habit of it. And in the mornings, my habit is to get up, make my coffee. I have that little coffee percolator espresso so that I make in the morning, sit on my patio. And I would always reason with myself, well, the reason I don't want to go running in the morning because I really love my spiritual practice and I don't want to give up my spiritual practice. Okay. Now I've decided that actually I can do my spiritual practice any other time. I can do it earlier, I can do it later, I can do it in the evenings. Okay. And so I have decided that I will get up in the morning and I will go for my run first thing in the morning. And that is going to become my new habit.
Well done. Very impressed. I've not thought about a new habit other than I'm trying to learn how to do the video stuff. So I'm trying to get in the habit of education for 2 hours at the end of each day.
Okay, that's a good idea.
My tips are going to work with the meditation
Mm-hmm.
that I'm going to do. So as you listen to the meditation, I want you to decide which habits are crucial to form, and using these tips and deeply consider what truly matters most in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So reflect on your core values and what your long-term goals are, which aspects of your life that you really wish you want to improve or eliminate, as you said, either add or eliminate, whether it's your personal health, success, relationships. Just make sure you identify something to improve or remove as I do the meditation.
I think it's really important to remember William Wilberforce said we change by degrees. So when you're picking something that you want to implement or let go of, make sure it's only one at a time, 2 at the very most, but one at a time is better. Because imagine if you changed one a week for 52 weeks, you eventually over a year you would have changed 52 or created 52 new habits. So if it's a huge, big habit, is it possible you can break it down? Okay, what is the first step?
Good
What
advice.
am I going to do? We change by degrees. Think about something that's manageable for you, something that excites you, something that you know that if you imagine a degree, you're just off by one little degree, but as you're going further and further into your future, that you're further and further away from the life that you would have been living if you hadn't taken that 1 degree step. So that's whilst you're doing this meditation with Tanya, let's think about, just that one step, that 1 degree that you're going to make a change in.
Wonderful. Thanks for that. And again, if you're leaving us now, then thank you for listening. And for those of you who are staying, get ready for the meditation. So start by finding a quiet space where you can sit comfortably without any interruptions. And close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And exhale slowly, letting go of any immediate stress or tension. Allow yourself a few moments to settle into this space. And as you do, focus on your breath as it enters and leaves your body. And feel your own natural rhythm of your breath. And as you continue to breathe deeply, start to reflect on your life's current journey. Think about the aspects of your life where you seek to find more meaning. What is it that truly matters to you? And let these thoughts gently come to the surface as you maintain a relaxed and open state of mind. And as your mind opens up, ask yourself, what is the one thing I need to change to live a more meaningful life? Allow this question to resonate within you without rushing to an answer. Instead, observe any thoughts or feelings that arise. There might be habits you're clung to that are no longer serving you. Or perhaps there are new paths that you want to explore. Imagine what it would be like to achieve excellence in the areas that are important to you. And try and get to a habit that you want to form. Just one. And now visualize yourself engaging in this new habit. Engaging in this new habit daily. Even setting reminders on your watch or your computer to make sure that you're checking in to practice the new habit. See yourself waking up early. You might be reading, exercising, or whatever new habit aligns with your new goals. And as you keep practicing and it becomes stronger and stronger within you, feel the satisfaction and the sense of progress that comes from your consistent practice and dedication. And think about the small steps that you can take to start forming this new habit right now. It doesn't have to be a big leap. Just small, consistent actions are key. Now visualize yourself making these changes, taking these actions, step by step, day by day. And with each step, see yourself moving closer to your ideal state of excellence. And now repeat this affirmation silently to yourself. I am capable of change. Each small step I take builds a pathway to my excellence. I commit to this change because it brings meaning and fulfillment into my life. And now take a few more deep breaths and feel that sense of commitment to these new habits and the changes that you are going to implement. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Take a moment to appreciate the clarity and purpose that you've gathered during this meditation. And carry this sense of direction and determination with you as you move forward, reminding yourself of your ability to adapt and grow new habits to form excellence. And listen to this meditation as often as you need to strengthen your dedication to meaningful change and developing your new habits. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And thank you. We are the Apple Pie Club.